Greetings, Glitter Gang, and happy Thursday. It's 9 o'clock on Thursday, June 9th. You're here for Kathryn Scraps Live. My name is Kathryn, and tonight we are going to be scrapping live the Vintage Staples album. We had some setbacks this afternoon. Let's not talk about it. I'm going to put my setbacks are going to be in the playlist because, you know, there's probably useful information on how you can maybe fix your setbacks if you have them, which I'm sure you don't, because I'm sure you are all perfect, unlike moi. However, I did have a small epiphany this afternoon while I was meditating on file folders and how much I hate them. And that was, we should be making these file folders in two pieces so we can set the eyelets with the normal crocodile. Yeah? So actually, it's a good thing that I had that meltdown, because if I hadn't had a meltdown, then I probably wouldn't have been thinking so intensely about file folders. So now I think I'm probably okay with file folders again. So I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be well, I think we'll be fine. Okay, so basically, to make the file folders in two pieces, all you have to do is, where's the? Hold on, let me get this out. Let me get the template, because the template. Okay, I can walk you through it on the template. All right, so see how this file folder is 10 inches by 11 5/8 inches, and you score the 11 5/8 at 6 inches. So what you need to do is make one piece 10 inches by this minus this, okay? And that's your front, all right? So to make the front, again, this is if you want to make it two pieces. To make the front, which is the piece with all the flaps, okay? To make the front, you make it 10, like whatever the whatever the actual instructions are. 10 by this number minus this number. That's the front. Okay? So the front is this number by this number minus this number. So in this case of the large file folder, it would be 10 inches by 5/8 inches. And then you want to add an inch to this. Okay, you want to add an inch to this. So it would be 10 inches by 6 5/8. All right. So that's the front. And the reason why is because to find out what size the front is, you subtract this from this, because this is the measurement that makes the back. So that's 5 5/8. But you need to add an inch for your flap or half an inch for your flap, whatever you want to add for your flap. Okay. So it's this by this. So the front is 10 or whatever. By 11 5/8 minus 6, which is 5 5/8, plus 1, which is 6 5/8, okay? And then for the back is this measurement minus 2 inches, so in this case 8, by this measurement. So this is just 8 by 6. Or whatever the final measurement of your file folder is expected to be. So if you're trying to make a 6 by 8 file folder, it's 6 by 8. If you're trying to make a 5 by 7 file folder, it's 5 by 7. If you're trying to make, in this case, a 3.5 by 5 inch file folder, it's 3.5 by 5 inches, okay? So you only really have to math for this to get the front, because we're adding this flap. All right, so, but that's it. You can transform any of these. Hold on, I have to do some taping right here because this is really annoying me. I cut a little too far. There's a cat hair stuck to my bone folder. Why, cats? Why? I know, not a cat hair in this house. Not a cat hair in this house. What size elastic do I use? I will have to look that up, Jill, because I literally just ordered one that looked good to me online, so I have no idea. But let me just quickly check that. And what I'll do is also, the question is, what size elastic do I use? And I will add it to my Amazon ideas list so that in the video description, there is that link to that Amazon, Amazon ideas list. So the exact one that I purchased will be in there. But I know nothing, just a caveat, I know nothing about elastic. I literally just was like, that one looks good, and I bought it. So is it good quality? I don't know. Is it the best size ever? I don't know. Did I need this much of it? Definitely not. But anyway, it's $9, so I'll add it to the list. Okay, add to list. All right, there it is. Okay, so it's now in the ideas list, and the ideas list is in the video description of every live show and all the videos on my channel since I started doing the ideas list. So including this one and this playlist, all the videos in this playlist. According to this, I got 1/8 inch elastic bands for sewing, cord for masks, and ear ties. So, or 3 millimeters. So 1/8 of an inch or 3 millimeters are the two measurements on the listing. And I'll go ahead and I'll poke a link. I'm going to post a link in the chat as well. Do I have Amazon in Australia? I don't. Amazon did message me about how to do that. But I just haven't done it. But I do have the capability to do that, I guess I should say. And they emailed me about how to make my links and things international. So I will do some research on that, Jill. But hopefully you can at least see the listing and be able to search for a comparable product in Australian Amazon. But I will try and figure that out, because they did tell me that I can do that. I just don't know how yet. So, all right. So I've fixed that. So let me just, yeah, that looks a lot better. Okay. All right. So that's an improvement. Okay. So now we can use the normal crocodile, I think. Let me just, is it deep enough to get past, or am I going to have to shave? No. Okay. I'm going to have to cut this to 1/2 inch. So if you want to use the regular crocodile to set your eyelets, you're going to have to make this flap a 1/2 inch flap. So I'm just going to put that score line on my mat and line the 1/2 inch line of my ruler up with the same score line, and then slice off the bottom. All right. Okay, so are there any questions about how to separate the two file folder halves? I don't, it's not too difficult. So I will label this video something like make your file folders 2 pieces, or calculate 2 pieces, something. It'll be something like that. If you're watching the video in the playlist, you already know what it's called, but we're doing this live. I have no idea what it will be called. So, but you know, it'll be in the playlist, and it'll have a name that indicates that this is the video where I explain how to make the file folders in 2 pieces. Okay, so we're just gonna, this is how we'll ultimately stick them together. All right, so it's gonna look exactly the same. But be easier to decorate and easier to use, to eyelet. Okay. All right. So there we go. So I've remade that. So now we're going to decorate that, and then we're going to decorate these 2. So let me just have my little template stack. I like how one of them is literally written on a paper bag. So, okay. Oh, Kitty, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. Oh, no, you were right to yell. You were so right to yell at me. You know, I was definitely violating your personal space. Yeah. Okay. Narrowly avoided squishing a kitty. So, yeah. Poor kitty. I know. She almost got flattened. It was almost real serious. It really, really very serious. Okay. Hello, sweetheart. Yes. 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 You're so pretty. Okay. Well, I mean, if you were going to be on the floor, you need to... Okay. So we have these. I can still do the sunburst. It'll just be not quite as tight as it was originally going to be. That's fine. Not the end of the world. Okay. I know, poor kitty. Poor kitty. Did you almost get squished? Did you? Yeah. Yeah. I know. Yeah, you better go. Yeah, you go over there. You'll be safe over there. She has to check out all the things Stormy messed up while he was up here. Kitty will forgive me after she alters my clothes. That's so funny. Beverly sent me a cat that looked a lot like Kitty, altering their humans' clothes in revenge. So that was a documentary. That was a documentary. That explains why I gain weight. It's not because I eat too many snacks. It's because of this evil cat. That's what it is. Okay. So, we're going to grab this one or this one. Let's see. Definitely not going to grab B as for bird. Definitely not. So maybe, maybe this one, maybe this. No, this, definitely going to go with this one. All right. So we're going to just take one of the tags from the DIY shop collection. This is by Crate Paper. Remember that nothing in this collection is newer than 2012. So this is a very vintage album for sure. All right. I'm going to just cut these two tags off the bottom just so it's easier to put this in my scrap bin. You bought your kitties cushy new beds from your retreat. Well, these kitties have cushy beds, but they hardly ever sleep in them. When they sleep in them, we get so excited, we freak out, and then we scare them, and then they don't sleep in them for a while. So, although when everyone was over here, Kitty slept in, or not Kitty, Tiny Cat slept in her little house that's in my office quite consistently, so. That did happen. Okay. All right. I'm just trying to tidy my paper so that I know what I'm even doing at any given point. Okay. All right. Okay. I think we're in good shape now. All right. So this is what we're working with. And okay, now, here's what I'm thinking with this. What if we, for these, first of all, I will, let me separate these just so I'm going to put the score line on the half-inch line. This is how you separate them. Put your score line on the half-inch line and slice. If you want them in two pieces, if they're already in one piece. I assume you're all creating along with me, so, you know, if you're crafting along with me, then, all right, and so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, I'm I'm gonna just run. I'm gonna use the Sunburst on the biggest one, I think now. Okay. Although crafting right along with me, you know, dangerous proposition. Dangerous proposition. I recommend at least watching all the videos before you start crafting because, you know, especially on a project like this where I have no idea what I'm doing. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. Okay. So what I've done now is I've put some paper on the bottom of this, and I'm going to just cut this back down to the correct size, which is 6 by 8. So I'm going to go do that in the big trimmer, and then I will be right back. All right, so this is now the correct size to be joined to this. And now we'll be able to decorate it more easily, okay? And what I'm gonna do is, since I have lost the tightest part of this because I already used it, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same thing as I did before, which is, in this case, cut a 5 3/4 inch strip because it's going on a 6-inch piece. And a 5 3/8, 5/8, what is it? 5/8. So one piece is 5 3/8. So one piece is 5 3/8, and the other piece is no, that's not correct. Is it? Yeah, it is. No, it's not. What? Yeah, it is. Okay. Whew, my brain is so smart. It's 5 3/8, a 5 3/8 inch strip, and a 5 3/4 inch strip. Okay. And then gonna find the part of the design that looks the most like the center to me. And this time I'm gonna stack them on top of each other when I do this. And then I need to go half, which is in this case is 3 7/8, because half would be 4. So I need to find the part that looks to me the most like the center of this starburst, which is actually right here. I think it's the slightly off center on the page itself. So I'm going to cut here, and then I'm going to flip this around and cut it at 7 3/4. All right, there we go. Okay, so in theory, these should both fit my largest piece. So this one, yeah, except this is the back. Yeah, so it'll fit here. All right, okay, we're in good shape. And then this one will go on the front. Yeah, look, it actually is gonna work. Okay, so this is, since this is the back, when we do our punching, we need to do our punching at the cardstock was at 3 inches. The cardstock tab was cut to 3 inches, so our pattern paper tab is 2 7/8. So your tab is 1/8 of an inch less. So what I need to do is just, you know, looking at it, make sure I do the right thing. All right, so on this one I need to do it upside down, and then again 2 7/8, and then right on the edge. All right, and then it'll fit right there. Voila, beauty-muss. Okay, and then on this one, which is the front, So it goes like this. On the front, we do the other side. So again, it's 2 7/8. And now one thing I did not do is I did not tape that before I punched it, but that's okay. No big deal. So this is the one on the front. We remove the tab and we chomp the corner. And this was chomped with the 1/2 inch, so I'm going to use the 3/8 inch to chomp it. And that should nest it nicely. Yeah, it's actually quite nice. All right, so on the back, we remove everything but the tab. We keep the tab. All right, and then chomp with the 3/8. And if you've ever wondered what the point of the yellow corner chomper is, it is so that you can nest your pattern paper in this one. So on the original one, which is 1/4 and 1/2 inch, and then the yellow one is 1/8 and 3/8, 1/8 and 3/8. Okay, 1/8. So if you cut your cardstock with a 1/2 inch and you cut your pattern paper with a 3/8, so if you use the larger of both, then the pattern paper will nest in that corner better. And it's the same over here on this side. If you use the 1/4 inch on your cardstock, then use the 1/8 on your pattern paper and it will nest better. Okay. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put tape everywhere except the very top, and then I'll use liquid glue on the very top. And that'll just make it easier instead of trying to make the tape, you know, fit. But it's just easier if you tape it before you stick it down, obviously, or punch it. And then apologies for my scratchy voice. It's like some kind of crazy allergy season thing because my eyes are super itchy and my voice is scratchy. So just fun. I need to move somewhere without allergies. Are there places without allergies? How's the grass out front doing? So I actually have reached, reached a level of peace with the grass out front. And that is that I was able to get the landlord to send me a letter from the regional head of you know, Invitation Homes, whatever the company, the person in charge of this area of the state, to send me a letter that said that the grass was noted on our move-in as messed up and we do not have any responsibility for grass care. And I said, all right, from henceforth, I will ignore everything that the HOA sends about the grass. I said, I'm not even going to tell you when they send me letters about the grass. And they said that that was fine. So that's where we are, is that I don't have grass, and the HOA is probably mad about it, but I don't care. And if anything, if they try to like come at me, I can be like, not only was it noted on our move-in, so I already have that, but also you confirmed it was noted on the move-in. I have this correspondence from the regional head of something. I don't know, whatever. The person who's in charge of buying the houses to rent, actually, is the person who finally signed off on it. And the way that all happened is when they sent me like some email that was like, we got a thing about your grass, and if you don't have the grass fixed by this date, we'll come and fix the grass, and then you'll have to reimburse us for all the money we spent on the grass. And I was like, oh hell no. So I called the maintenance, like emergency maintenance hotline, even though it wasn't an emergency, but I was just pretty sure that the emergency maintenance hotline would be answered, which it was. And I ruined the day of whatever poor person answered it, but he understood the situation because he kept me on hold while he called every number he had for our regional office until he got a person on the phone. And then he passed me to that person. So, and then he must have prepped that person for what was coming, because that person was already obsequious when I got on the line. And everything I said, they agreed with, including sending the letter. So that's where we are. So now, did she say that she was going to, see what was possible to be done in terms of a permanent solution for the grass and get back to me and not get back to me? Yes. Do I care? No, because it's not my grass. It's now officially not my grass. And if anyone from the HOA knocks on the door, I'm just going to be like, you should put a lien on the house. That's the only thing they're going to pay attention to. That's my advice. Put a lien on the house. So sue them, because nothing's going to happen unless you do. So that's where we are. Although some of the grass we planted the last time we planted grass, which was just like a bag of grass from Walmart, actually did grow, but it's never gonna really take off because the oak tree is gonna kill it. So, but we've been talking a lot about, just this last week, it's so funny, about housing and the kind of housing crisis and like how difficult it is for people to, find a place, and then you have to deal with like, you can't just live your life. You have to deal with these insane HOAs, whatever. And so what we have been researching lately, we had talked about when we finally were in what we thought was our like permanent residence, that we were going to build a custom home. And again, that has a lot to do with like, we have really strange space needs because of, he works from home, I work from home, We have this whole studio, which has its own specific needs. And it's kind of hard to find places to rent, actually. We have to rent these gigantic houses because, that's the only way to get enough room for all the people plus the businesses. So we had always talked about doing something custom, but we researched kit houses, and I found a company that does eco-friendly kit houses that are hurricane and typhoon resistant. And the price is buying a piece of land, buying the kit house, and paying the contractor to build the kit house. Because you have to pay a local builder to put the house pieces together. So like the company that makes the house, they build the house in big panels, and all the wiring and plumbing and everything is in them, inside of the panels, but they have to like hook all the wires up to each other like in the proper order and pour the slab and all that kind of stuff. I think we should just get over grass. I mean, I mentioned this before. As a society, we just need to get over grass. Like, if you have grass that can live on its own without being watered, like it works in your region, then great, But, like, we can probably do better stuff with our yards. Like, I don't know. I just don't think grass is like that. Like, we can just... It's not something we need to spend water on when water is scarce, And so HOAs just need to get over it. They just need to get over it. We have to just change the culture around grass. Because we researched all kinds of creeping plants that you can put on your yard that will just take over your yard and look beautiful. You know, but they're considered weeds, and your HOA would come like crawl down your throat about it. So, okay. All right, so here it is. Beautiful. All right, so we've still got our sunburst. We've got our two halves. Nice. Okay. All right, we're in good shape. So we just need to decorate the halves, and then we can stick them together, do the eyelets and stick them together. So let's think about what do we want to do with our halves here. All right, because we have a lot of space. So I'm going to go to that pad again, some of those pads. So anyway, but yeah, like we've been researching the cost to buy the land plus the cost for the house kit plus the cost for the builder to put the kit together. And the kit house companies were saying it would probably cost, it costs, you know, 40% less than just buying a comparable sized house on a comparable sized piece of land. And we did do the research, and we think that that 40% is a little generous, but it is significantly cheaper. It is. So Mr. Lifeguard's now looking at land, because that's his new thing that he's into, is checking out pieces of land. So, but yeah, I think, you know, I would love to have a house that was, you know, designed with hurricanes in mind, that was made from sustainable. So you have to get a local construction company to put it together. So the way that it works is you have to find a local general contractor with a crew with with all the who have all the licenses for a house and who can pull all the permits and everything. And they have to pour the slab and hook it up to the grid and all of that. So you have to hire builders to put it together. But they said basically it costs between 40 and 60. You should estimate between, depending on your region, between $40 and $60 a square foot for the builders. And that's, you know, depending on the size of the house, I mean, and whether, if you're on the high end of that spectrum, I mean, that is six figures, you know. But still, you don't, I mean, it's not like I'm going to try and learn how to electricity. So that's not on my to-do list for, ooh, I like this. Do we like it just as a scallop? What if we put like a 4x6 right on it? That is included in the 40% less. Yes. So it's actually cheaper than a custom house. Custom houses are more expensive than normal houses. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just really interesting. So, you know, who knows? I don't think it's going to happen like next week or anything, but, we do like the idea. And we're just determined not to live in an HOA, you know. And I was like, what's the downside? Is it the neighborhood could look bad? You know, that's the major downside of not living in an HOA. And Mr. Lifeguard said, you get a big enough piece of property, and what do you care what the neighbors look like? And I was like, I guess that's true. Well, for a state, we talked about it with my sister and her husband, and you know, they're pretty ambivalent about staying in this area versus going to Savannah, Georgia. They don't really care either way. Like, they'd be happy to stay here, and they'd also be happy to go to Savannah, Georgia. So I think it's just gonna be kind of wait and see what his company offers us to move to Savannah, and whether or not he thinks that's worth it for having to go back into the office and maybe have a commute again. And if he does, then it'll be in Savannah. And if he doesn't, then we'll do it here. Because they've also made it clear that he does not have to go to Savannah, even if he's offered a position in Savannah, and that anything that he was offered in Savannah would be a significant promotion to make it worth his while. So he's just going to have to weigh all that, you know, and then we'll go from there. And I don't think that's anytime soon. Like, their first exploratory trip to Savannah is at the end of July. So we'll know more in like a month and a half, I think. Okay, so I'm looking for just like a 4x6 card. But yeah, we've got a direction either way. So now, like, buying a piece of land isn't totally easy because, like, some land doesn't have water rights, for example, and so then you might have to pay, like, if you need to put a well or something, then you might have to pay, you know, the neighbor or whatever, and things like that. And so you have to just be really careful, you know. And, you know, depending on where your piece of property is, you may not be able to be on, like, the city grid for sewer or that sort of thing. So, you know, there's going to be all kinds of challenges, I'm sure. I'm sure it will be an enormous headache, and halfway through, I'll be like, what the heck are we doing? So I don't have any 4x6 cards. So let me look in these. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just some neighborhoods are going to have, you know, people who take care of their stuff because that's just the culture of the neighborhood and everyone encourages everyone else. And then there's going to be some neighborhoods where that's not the culture. You know, a friend of mine doesn't have an HOA. Oh, here we go. And their neighborhood has some elements that could look how cute. Okay. All right. This is looking good on the back here. Look at that. Okay. All right, so we are going to carefully pop this out. Okay, we did it. So yeah, I think, you know, I think it's totally fine. You know, just look at the neighborhood, you know, before you move in. Are people taking care of their yards? Yes or no? Do you care if they do? Yes or no? But my parents live in an HOA, and it's a very strict one, and their neighbor is a total menace, and the HOA has been after them for years, but they just don't care. And, you know, the worst thing an HOA can do to you is put a lien on your house, and then that is something that it doesn't really necessarily matter until you try to sell your house. So if you don't plan on moving anytime soon, you could just ignore the HOA as long as you want to. So, all right. Hey, kitty. Hi, sweetie. Yeah, she had a tough couple days. She had her flea medicine 2 days ago. And big thunderstorms today were so scary. She had to hide under a bed. So she has had a toughie. It's been a toughie. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you wouldn't want, you know, you just don't want someone who's like wildly out of step with the rest of the neighborhood. Oh no, Melanie. Hopefully that doesn't mean anything for you. Fingers crossed. All right, I'm going to put some, should we do yellow? I'm going to put a little bow at the top. Should we do yellow or should we do black? Oh, I kind of like the black. What do you think, yellow or black? I have red, but I think my red is a little too pink. See how this kind of turns orange? Oh, I have solid yellow. I like the black though. I'm going to go with black. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to Excuse me. All right, so I'm just going to put a hole, you know, an inch over on either side. I'm just going to make a mark. So this white line here is my centering line, so I need to go an inch over from that line and then an inch over from that line. And that'll give me a 2-inch spread. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, I think, my smaller side of my crocodile to punch those holes. But yeah, we did look. Now we're in the process of like researching these companies that make these houses, because there's quite a few that make eco-friendly ones, which is nice because we. All right, so I'm just gonna. Cookie is missing 3 fangs. No, Cookie. All right. Poor Cookie. Whenever Tiny Cat yawns, I check her fangs because I feel like if any cat is gonna lose a fang, it's gonna be Tiny Cat. So anyway, if we do end up doing it, I'm sure you'll all hear all about it and be totally, by the time it's done, you'll be totally sick to death of it. So, how did I lose a nail? I lost it in the pool. So, I think the water got underneath it and got to the glue. All right, so I'm going to start from the front and I'm going to put one end through each hole. And then, you know, pull it into the back so that it's even. And then put the holes, or put the ends through the opposite holes. So we're crisscross applesauce in the back here. And then I'm just gonna tie a knot right in the middle. And then we'll tie our bow. Tiny. Now Tiny's crying. All right, so now we've got our cute little bow. So I'm just gonna put a dab of, oh, I had such a good pool day. Look at, I have a tan. I had such a good pool day on, was it yesterday or Tuesday? It was either yesterday or Tuesday. But both my sister and her husband were home. He was off work and then she was sick. And I mean, she wasn't feeling well, but it was more like, I'm not feeling like totally well. So I'm just going to stay home. Because why go in when you're not feeling 100? Anyway, normalize not going to work when you're feeling. Is there such a thing as a bad pool day? I mean, I guess probably not. So I'm going to put tape below the fabric, and then just down the middle, and that's just so that it'll still lift up a little bit and have some texture and look like it has some movement. So I'm not going to totally flatten it out. But yeah, we were just in the pool for quite a while. Oh, I guess I got to put tape on the back of this too. And we were just talking about, you know, actually we were talking a lot about what we've been talking about, which is the buying a piece of land and the research we've been doing on these kit homes, they're called. And it used to be, I mean, people used to just, you used to be able to apparently order a house from the Sears catalog, and it would come like IKEA style. Everything you needed to build the house, like all the wood, screws, the plans, everything would come, and then you would just put it together yourself. Now, this was back before probably licensing and all that jazz. Like, my guess is this was like 100 years ago. But yeah, people used to just, this was kind of normal to order a house on in the mail, or, you know, to have your house kind of shipped to you. And they were explaining that the reason that it's cheaper is because the labor is very streamlined on their end, because they're building the same 5 houses over and over again, you know, so they don't have to have like such a wide range of materials, and the people know what they're doing, and so they work a lot faster or more efficiently, probably, that sort of thing. So that's where the money is saved. And then of course the supplies that the builders do use, they order in massive bulk. You know, they're not special ordering things, because you just had to have this specific set of cabinets. It's like, these are the cabinets you can have, pick one of these cabinets, you know, which is fine. We're not that picky. So, but one of the house companies we looked at, they got started selling, they used to make bungalows for resorts, particularly in like Thailand, places like that. And so then they turned that into also making houses. So that's why they're good for if you live in a place with hurricanes, because, you know, they were designed for exactly that type of climate. So this is how it's going to look. How cute. Okay. We can even curl a little bit so that it's got more texture. Okay. All right. So now we've got the back. We just need to do something with the front. Of course, the front and back don't have to match, but you know. But yeah, apparently it was pretty normal for people to buy houses this way. And it's never gone completely out of style, but it's becoming more in style. Like, it's having a kind of resurgence of interest, especially the companies that have some kind of specialty, like they're low waste or zero waste or eco-friendly. Like, you can buy LEED platinum houses this way if you want to. Like, if you want to go all the way, like, you can buy, like, I mean, those are going to cost more than a normal house, but they're going to cost less than it would be for you to custom build a LEED platinum house, you know. So, all right, I'm just kind of flipping through here to see if there's anything I want to layer. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see if we do it. It won't be anytime soon because, you know, we have to, his company is not moving anytime soon on this Savannah thing, so we just don't have all the information yet. But All right, so I'm looking, I need some kind of 4x6 to go there. So I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is I have a bin over here labeled journaling. So let's see what's in here in this journaling bin. If maybe there's some cards or other things that will interest us. Well, right here, what have we got? Ooh, what if I cut this out and stuck that on the front? That could be cute. And then, too bad this is facing this way, otherwise it could be cute. We could do that. In fact, maybe we'll layer a couple together. This is an interesting little... Let's do something with this. Okay. This is We Are Memory Keepers, Albums Made Easy. This is from Albums Made Easy. I kind of like this with the little rainbow. What do we think? I think this works more for me, but all right, so we found something very cute in our journaling bin. So we are still getting everything from the stash. Still getting everything from the stash. Nice. Okay. So yeah, this is We Are Memory Keepers, and it is part of their Albums Made Easy line. Which is basically their Project Life. Hello. You can come say hi? Are you being crazy? You gonna come? Are you? Hey, hey, what are you doing? You're licking your chops, that's what. All right, so what I'm gonna do with these is I'm going to cut them completely out, and that way we'll be able to move them. Let me get a craft knife. That way we'll be able to move them further in so that we can still have them. We don't have to cut them off, and they'll fit on the page. Okay. So what I mean is I can shift it over like so, and then it'll fit. Okay. So I just need to cut this off on the side here. But another thing that we have been learning about is there are pools that you can make that have completely all natural, no chemicals, filtration systems that has to do with, like I think like the water goes you know, through a bed of rocks, through a bed of smaller rocks, through a bed of sand, through a, you know, it does something like that. And that's how the water stays clear and germ free. And so we've been learning about those as well. And as an alternative to, and what people like about them and what we like about them is that they just look like you have a really cool lake in your backyard. But they are more expensive than a normal pool, so that would be a down the line saving up for kind of thing. Or we could, but I kind of like that idea too. So and they actually said that, sometimes, that they will spontaneously have fish in them, which I thought was super interesting. But that like comes from birds, you know, landing in it to take a drink, and they have eggs on them or something like that. And then they can deposit fish into the pool, and then your pool will just have local fish, which I thought was kind of funny. Can you imagine if your pool just started growing its own fish spontaneously? So who knows? Who knows what we'll do, but basically, I just don't want to hear about grass ever again for the rest of my life. And the only way to never hear about grass again for the rest of my life is to not have an HOA. So we're going to have to work with that. So. All right. So now with this up here, what do we think about just having those like coming out of the side? Yeah, or just not have grass. I mean, I'm fine with either of those things. So I'm happy to not have grass. I'm happy to not have an HOA. So, you know, if there's an HOA that doesn't care if I have grass, that's fine too. Although apparently HOAs can go from being like normal to crazy pretty quickly, because it just depends on who gets like voted in to be in charge of stuff. So. All right, so I'm going to leave that on there so I can tape that underneath. So, but yeah. Joyce, that's a good suggestion. And the last time you suggested it, I was like, I should get a pop socket. And then I forgot. So, but yes, I love, Joyce suggested getting a pop socket so you don't lose your tearing tool on your desk. And I think that's a great idea that we should implement. All right, so now I'm just going to add another little strip of tape back here. And then I think we're good to go to put this down, and then that'll finish off this Hello, Ellen. Welcome. And then that'll finish off this folder to the extent where we can. A pop socket is a circle that kind of, it goes on, they're made for your phone, and it goes on the back of your phone so it can go in between your fingers so you don't have to grip your phone. Like your phone can just, it's like a knob that goes on the back of your phone, and it's called a pop socket because you can flatten it and it'll be flat and then you can pop it up. And you just put it between your fingers when you're holding your phone so that you don't have to grip your phone. But Joyce put hers on her tearing tool so that the tearing tool doesn't get lost on the desk, and it's easier to pick it up and move it around to use as a tearing tool, which I think is a really good idea. Exactly. We need to live in a neighborhood where all the neighbors are way too lazy to run the HOA, and the people that end up getting stuck with it are like doing whatever the bare minimum is to not have the city come knocking on the door. That's what we need. Absolutely. That is absolutely what we need. For sure. Okay, so now we just need to push this in far enough that, you know, it's not going to hang off the edge. All right, so that's why we cut it out, so we could move it inwards. And then I wonder, what about something like a big brad to go in those circles? Let's look in the color embellishments bin for some big brads. All right. Ah, these are what I want. Brads like this. Ooh, and then we also have these flowers we could maybe do. Look, these are making memories. They went out of business 10 years ago. 20 years ago. They went out of business more like 20 years ago. Here we go. I found my stash of brads. My gosh, I have a problem. Okay. All right. I also have these vintage sew-on buttons, which might look cute there as well, and we could put some twine through them. I have these little typewriters. Those are pretty cute. All right, let's see. Oh, these are exactly the right, okay. My mind's eye. Let's look at the copyright on this one. Nada. Okay, fine. No way to know. No way to know how old these are. But look, it perfectly fits there. It's just gonna... It does cover up the "it happened" though. So those are a little too large. We've got to go down a scooch in size. I know, I'm trying not to be a hoarder. That's my goal. I'm trying not to be a hoarder. All right, maybe these. This one, maybe that one. Not this one. Maybe. Maybe. No. No, 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 no. 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 Maybe. No. 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 All right, so here's the maybes. So let's take a look at these flowers. No date on this one either. So we could use maybe a larger one and a smaller one. I do feel that. Like in 2010, we were all hoarding like they were never going to make crafting supplies ever again. Do we think those flowers are cute or too big? I kind of like them. I mean, I think they might be too big, but I still kind of like that they're too big. We need like little labels to gussy up this. I'm going to use them. Why not? You know? I like them. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the journaling bin. All right, we're going to use those big flowers. Oh my gosh, we're using so many random things and I love it. I lost both my cats. Probably because they don't like to hang out with each other. So. All right, let's go back to the journaling bin and look for like little baby labels, something we can put down here. So we're looking for tiny little guys. All right. Oh, here we go. Okay, so we have a couple little arrows. That's true. Gretchen says with the prices and supply chain issues, now we're finally benefiting from our past hoarding. You're totally right. You're totally right. Absolutely. Okay. So if I put that over the pink one, actually, I think it works nicely. And I'm just going to quickly look at these. See if anything jumps out at me like ever so slightly more, but that one fits so perfectly there and it's the right color and everything. So let's just do it. All right. No, definitely. Hoarding is paying off. My hoarding is paying off. Okay. All right. So I'm going to just ink this. And we'll stick it down again, just so it perfectly covers that pink one. And then for these, I'm just going to glue them with some glossy accents so that they have a little more strength. And then we will add our eyelets and stick everything together. All right. I am going to make an album for Liz's wedding. I'm going to make, I think, my current plan is to make the biggest album of the Goldilocks album a wedding album. That's my current plan. So, and I did pick 3 paper lines that I thought would not only work well like with each other, that I can, one of the 3 paper lines, I forget which ones I picked. I have a video on which ones I picked. We found it's going to take a few weeks to get the photos, which we was kind of like, we're kind of bummed about that, but like I think they said 8 weeks or something like that, but it'll be nice when they do come. All right. But it'll be awesome to see the pictures. And we get full printing rights to the photos and full high-res downloads of all the photos. So, you know, we don't have to like pick the photos we like the most. So we just get all the photos, which is nice. So I'm gonna clear my glossy accents, and the way I do that is by squeezing it until all the air comes out of the tube, and then I let it go, and it sucks the glossy accents back in, and that can help keep your glossy accents from clogging, because even these caps with glossy accents will still get stuck. So glossy accents is just, you know, it is what it is. Okay. All right. All right, I'm just going to trim the sides, angle them in. And what else? Oh, last thing is I need to do the corner, the back corner. So let's, okay, how do I want to do this? Because let me look at the first one I did, because I forgot how exactly, because I liked the way that one turned out. So let's go look at it. All right, so what I did was, okay. Oh, wow, I really made this hard on myself. I put this on after I assembled the pocket and put the liner in. So this was like the last thing that I did, was to put the rubber band on it. Which is the way that it'll look the cleanest, which is probably why I liked doing it that way. So I guess that's what we'll do. So we just need to pick a liner for this pocket. All right, so it's not going to show much. It just kind of pokes up right there. So we just want something that's going to blend with these colors. And I have a scrap of a dark brown, so maybe I'll just use that. So let me grab that. So somewhere in here, I know I have a dark brown scrap of some kind. Here it is. Yeah, I think that'll do nicely. Okay, so let's do our holes. And what I'm going to do, let me get my template. All right. So here's my stack of all my templates. And this is the template of the holes, or the rings in the album. So all I'm going to do is just, actually I'm going to put it face down. So all I do, I just eyeball it. You know, when it looks like it's evenly spaced between the two holes, that's when I consider it done. So I'm going to mark my holes. Okay. So I've marked my holes, where they're going to go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick them together with my clothespins. All right, perfection. Okay, so now I'm going to punch all the way through. I'm going to use the 1/4 inch power punch to do this. All right, so we punched all the way through, so I can get rid of these clips. And the way that I store them is I have a little basket of tools on my desk and I store them on the edge so that there's always some. I have a big container of them if I need a lot of them, but there's always some available. Now I thought this would happen where I would notch the flap. I don't care. So it's fine. It doesn't matter if the flap is notched. It's not a big deal. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and set my eyelets now. And these are eyelets for leatherworking. They're 3/8 of an inch. They're eyelets plus grommets, and these are the self-piercing style, and the self-piercing style is the style that I recommend for crafting. I have tried both the self-piercing and the regular for leatherworking, and the self-piercing set better in the crocodile, which is why I recommend them. There's some massive tool that can, the reason they're called self-piercing is because if you put it in a tool and then you put a piece of leather in the tool, it'll punch through the leather. But obviously we don't need to do that, so it's just not a big deal. But like I said, for whatever reason, something about the way they're constructed, they do work better in the crocodile. And I use the crocodile on 4B, 4 Bravo. Oops. All right, and then they are double-sided, just like that. And they come in a ton of colors, too. So whatever kind of finish you might want. And I do have to squeeze with both hands, but as you know, if you've watched this show for any length of time, I have no hand strength, so that's not a surprise. Okay, that makes it look so cool. Look at this cool file folder. All right, so now with this, the only thing I'm concerned about is do I want this to go over the grommets? And so what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to set this one in the middle without a grommet. Where do you get them? You just get them from eBay. So if you just go on eBay and search self-piercing grommets, because I'd kind of like this to be under them, and on the edges it's no problem, but in the middle it's a problem. Although I don't think I care that much. Are my binder rings skinnier than an average binder ring? I bought my binder rings just like from an office supply from Amazon. So let me look and find out what they are, see if it says. I don't think they're skinnier, but I don't think they're as, I don't think they're thick though. So maybe they are slender. Slender binder rings. Okay. I have to squeeze that last one again. That was pathetic. Okay. So yeah, on eBay, just Google. What you would search for on eBay is 3/8 inch self-piercing grommets plus eyelets. You don't think yours would fit through a grommet. Okay, well, I'm going to look mine up on Amazon, and I'll do two things. I'll add them to the idea list, so they'll be in the link in the video description, and I'll see if the listing says what size they are. I mean, I know they're 2 inches, but I'll see if the listing says how slender they are. So let me go look them up real quick. Gonna look them up. All right. They are 2-inch black loose leaf binder rings, metal book rings for school is what the listing says. Let me add them to the list. I don't think the listing is going to tell us how skinny they are though. Okay, I've added them to the list, so they are in the list. And then I'm also going to put the link in the chat for those of you who are live. And let me just scroll down and see if they actually ever say. No, they don't. But I am kind of okay, so Candy says that she's tried to put a binder ring through a grommet before and it didn't work. So maybe I do have skinny binder rings. Well, now you all have a link to skinny binder rings. So if you want some skinny binder rings, then they're there for you. Okay. All right, so now we're going to stick this together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to peel just the bottom, and then I'm going to line them up with each other, mostly by lining up this corner. Okay, so I want to line up this corner. All right, I think we're going to have a problem with the grommets, but let's see if I can, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and kind of bend the paper so that it's around the grommet, and then I can come back in with a craft knife and cut it off. So I'm just gonna there we go. All right, so all I did was I used my bone folder to kind of crush the paper up against the side of the grommet. And then I just cut a little half moon. And then the reason I used 2 separate sets of grommets when I was going to stick the file folder together was so that the file folder could expand. If I used just the grommet, if I just used 3 and I put the grommets on the front and the eyelets on the back, then I would lose about 1 inch of space because it would shut the bottom of the folder together, and it would only expand from like here up. It would only expand from here up, whereas this way it's going to expand all the way to the bottom. So that's why I did it that way. It just gives me about an extra inch of space to stick stuff. Okay, so now that I've got the bottom done, I can do the sides. It's super easy to do the sides because all we have to do is just shut the folder. So I just kind of push the sides a little bit flat and then close it. And then see, you can open it all the way down to the bottom. All right. Okay, so now we're going to put our liner. So we need to make our liner 7 3/4 inches. All right. And then I'm going to tape this top edge so that when I punch it, it will be ready to go. And it'll be taped on the back. And then we are going to just tape the other 3 edges. And when I'm doing a liner, I don't tape the bottom edge. I only tape the sides. So I only tape the top and the sides. And that just makes it easier to slide in if there's no tape on this bottom edge. And it's once it's in the pocket, it's not coming out again. So it's like no big deal. It doesn't matter. All right. So let's burnish. Okay. Then get the punch board. Punch board. All right. So we need the tab on this side, and the tab is 2 7/8 because this tab is 3, so we subtract an 1/8. So 2 7/8 punch, and then on the edge punch. Okay. And then put this back in the drawer. Back in the drawer. All right. And then we're going to trim the part that's not tab. And I do that by lining the bottom of the dip there up with the wire on my trimmer. And then just slicing off the excess. And then I'm going to punch. And because I use the 1/2 inch punch here, I'm going to use the 3/8 inch punch here, so that it nests nicely. Then ink. All right. And peel and stick. And the reason we're putting this liner in after we closed the file folder is just so you see here where we've got that little edge there where the side connects to the back. This liner will cover that, so nothing will get stuck on it coming in or out of the pocket. That's why. It just makes it a little bit cleaner. So we're just gonna slide it on in there. Get it into place. And burnish. Burnish, burnish, burnish. Okay. So now we've got it burnished. So now we have to do our little corner. So let me grab the corners template, which is in our Stack O templates. Okay. So it goes like this. All right, so we're going to line it up with the corner. Now you can see how it's kind of, it's going to punch through my flap. When I go to mark where this is, I'm just going to mark, I'm not going to mark on that flap, or I'm not going to mark on the white, okay? So when I go to punch, I'll lift this out of the way and I'll just punch through this so that this will kind of rest a little bit over. It's not a big deal. Oh, am I going to be able to get in here? No. What do you want to bet that I did this upside down? Oh no, I did not do it upside down. Oh, that one's just not. Oh, I shifted it at some point. Well, okay, we're just going to have to live with that. So what I'm going to do, this is kind of a last resort. Oh, I know what I did last time. I used the big bite and then I just kind of jammed the grommet in there. That's what I did. So I was like, how did I do this before? I mean, I think I did that, but do I know what I do? No. All right. So now we're going to have to use the big bite to set this grommet. Because my life sucks. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 6-inch piece of the string, which is the amount of string I used last time. I'm going to use a 4-inch piece this time because I'm going to try and sandwich it in the grommets. So what I'm going to do is let's put a little drop of glue. Let's see if this will work. It might not work. So I'm going to put a little drop of glue on the edge of the hole. And just hold it there for a minute. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. But let's give it a minute. See how it does. All right, let's take it off. Actually, it is stuck. Okay. All right, that's fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab some eyelets and grommets. All right, and then I'm going to squeeze it so that the string is in the grommet. And then we'll just do the same with the other side. Maybe we can do it this way instead of having to feed it all the way through. So, okay. All right, so I'm just going to, again, let that sit for a minute. All right. Let me grab a yeah, they have lots of treatments now, and people are getting milder cases because the virus is getting less scary. So hopefully you will be negative, but if not, that it'll be smooth sailing. At least that's the current trend, is less scary. Hopefully it'll keep trending less scary. All right, so I just need to open this hole a little bit more, which of course disturbed my string. All right, so now I have to big bite. I don't actually know if I'm going to be able to do this. Yeah, I don't think I am, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try sticking this grommet on. I'm going to stick the grommet on. Okay, stop it. Why are you being like this, grommet? Eyelet, whatever you are. Eyelet, you're an eyelet. Okay, and I'm going to just see what happens if I put it through the crocodile, like through this piece of paper on the front. Oh, it went all the way through. Wow, it pierced a hole and went all the way through. Even though it was completely on the inside. They are self-piercing grommets. Okay, well, that's unfortunate. I mean, I can just cover that with an embellishment on the front, but I need to pry them apart. Okay, so as an experiment, that did not work because the self-piercing grommet pierced my paper. That's okay. I'm just going to cut the paper. And then we'll just put a third embellishment there. Okay, there we go. All right, now the good news is this did work, and that is going to hold it shut. So that's cool. The bad news is now we have to put an embellishment here, which, I mean, as far as bad news goes, is not really the worst possible news. So, okay, let's go back to the embellishments. And try to find something from the same pack that we can put there. Was it that pack? No, this one. Okay. Okay. Oh, I know. A while back, I cut out this camera. Oh, darn it. I thought was like, maybe it'll work because it says love this photo. This camera's too tall. But let's find the camera paper and see if we find a camera that will work right there. So let's find the camera scrap. Oh my gosh. These bins are so heavy. All right, so we're looking for a wide camera, so maybe like that one. Ooh, maybe like that little camera there. Or even that camera. I don't think that camera is big enough, but this camera's maybe big enough. This one, this one, this one. I like this one. Okay. I mean, the main thing we've learned from this project is that if you don't plan your project, you make a lot of mistakes. So I don't know if that's breaking news or what, but stop the presses. Yeah, they're creative opportunities. Okay, so yeah, that's the one that we'll use. All right, so I'm just going to put tape on the back and then cut it out. We've definitely had plenty of creative opportunities. All right. This is going to be a long video, but oh well. Oh well. Just be one big video for tonight's class. Enjoy. Enjoy. All right, so let's peel. Peely peel. Okay, beautiful. That's right. So Gail says there's no mistakes in crafting, only opportunities for embellishment. Exactly. Exactly. All right, and look how nicely that photo or that camera goes there. Okay. It's like we did it on purpose, which we did. Obviously. Okay. So we've got our string, we've got our cute little flap. The string comes off and then we can load up the inside. I need to put a little piece of tape on the back of that just because there is a little bit of sticky. The recipe album I made 8 years ago popped up on my YouTube. That was a cute book. I had fun making that. All right. You need to go with the other templates, ma'am. All right, so now we just need to put stuff inside of it. So, first thing is we can definitely put photo mats. So I'm just going to take all the scraps I have of that brown and cut some photo mats 4.5 by 6.5 is what I'm going to do. And however many I can get is how many photo mats we'll put in this pocket. Okay. And the answer seems like it's gonna be 4. So there we go. I was able to get 4 out of all the scraps that we have left. I was able to get 4. And then I have a bunch of photo mats. So let's just grab the ATG and go to town. Oh, this one's already partially taped. Okay, ATG, what are you doing? Don't be a weasel. Ugh, are you being a weasel? Stop. All right. Okay. ATG was being a weasel, but I fixed it. Don't be a weasel. That's good life advice, by the way. Just don't be a weasel, you know? But yeah, we had a nice day, relaxing in the pool, listening to music. Talking about the different stuff that Mr. Lifeguard can put on his piece of land. He sent me a parcel of land that was like 15 acres, and I was like, no. No, we're not starting a farm, a commune. Wait, maybe that's how we start our cult finally. Maybe that's how we start our cult, everyone. Maybe I should just let him get 15 acres. Then we have plenty of room to expand for our doomsday cult. Although if you want 15 acres of land, you have to live in the middle of nowhere. But that's probably the best place to put a cult, if we're being honest. So you want to fly under the radar, you know. Anyone who's new here is like, I have no idea what's happening now. Our glitter compound, exactly. The top secret headquarters of the Glitter Gang. All right, so now by putting these in our folder, our file folder is now holding 8 photos. 8 photos. Plus, it'll hold, you know, whatever receipts, etc. you want to put in there. Oh my gosh, I was just about to ask if we did a Christmas in July project this year. It's June, So probably not. We probably didn't, huh? We probably did. Am I putting that on upside down? Yes. I guess it doesn't really matter, but whatever. As long as the delivery trucks can find us. Yeah, we definitely can't be so far off the grid that we can't get crafting supplies. That would defeat the purpose. Okay. I'm going to burnish this one just because I did rip it up. Okay. Now, in you go. All right. Oh, yeah. We also will need food. Yeah. That's a good point Ella's making about food and stuff. All right. So now we have our file folder filled with our photo mats. We've got our little corner to secure it. And it's cute as a button. It's cute as a button. We did it. We have recovered from our disaster this afternoon. Do I have a project in mind? What if we made 12 file folders? One for each of the 12 days of Christmas. What if just we only make file folders for the rest of the year? What do you think? Oh. Oh, why? I'm sorry. I'll be so glad when this cough is done. It's just irritation. Allergy. Oh! Sorry for coughing in your ears. How cute is that? Gail, there is, if you go to my main channel, there is a playlist that's called Vintage Staples Album. And if you look in the playlist, there will be a video that's labeled something like mini file folder or something like that. It'll be near the beginning of the playlist. It'll be one of the first 3 or 4 videos. But every single thing that I put in this album is in that playlist. So if you want to know how to make this, if you want to know how to make this, also this pocket is in there. This bag is in there. This paper bag is in there. All this stuff is in there. So there's a playlist on my channel that has all the pieces and parts of this album. Videos with measurements on all of it. So, how cute. How cute. Love it. Oh, yes. If we did 12 file folders, you could also do it for book club instead of for Christmas. That is a good point, Jill. That is a good point. Okay. All right. I think that's it for tonight. Glitter Gang, it has been wonderful hanging out with you. I lost one of my... Where's my tray? Oh, here it is. I was like, I literally lost my tray. So, yeah, you can check those out, you know, like at your leisure. But everything I've done on this book so far is in that playlist. Yeah, we could write reviews of each book. Yeah. Or if you wanted to do it for... I mean, literally, it would just be whatever paper you wanted to use. It would either be Christmas or book club. And then just a reminder, this month's book club, which has like a... this month's book club is... Nope. Oop. There. Ah, that's it. Okay, so that's this month's book club pick. We'll talk about that on the last Thursday of June. Maybe, question mark, maybe we'll talk about it the first Thursday of July because I have to leave on the last Friday of June at like 4 o'clock in the morning to go to that wedding in Seattle. So My guess is we're probably not going to have shows on that Thursday, but we shall see. But this is the book, and then these are all the books for the whole year, if you want to just take a look at that. We talk about these books on the last Thursday of the month. We chat about them while we are working on whatever project we're working on, in this case, this project. And our goal is to read 10 books a year. 10 books a year together. So, which we have done for the last 2 years. Is that right? Yeah, this is our third year, right? So this is our third year of reading books together. So, so those are all the books for the year. All right, my desk is clean. Yeah, we could write review. You would be able to put like a picture of the book. You could print out a picture of the book, full sized, and put it in the file folder, and then you could write as much as you wanted. Yeah. All right, so there you go. So that's where we are. So we're at number 6, book number 6. Looking at the books, I think we've had more hits than misses of the first 5 books. I would say that 3 of the books I have positive feelings about. Because I did not love The Boyfriend Project, but I liked The Island of Sea Women a lot. That was a great book, and The Lager Queen of Minnesota was fun as well. Yeah, exactly. 12 folders, 1 for each month. And there are 13 books on this list, you'll see, but 2 of them are in December. 2 of them are in December. So and one of those might get cut. So if you look at 12 and 13, those are both Christmas books. One of them's short and one of them's not short. So last year we read a Christmas classic and we read a modern Christmas book in the month of December. So we read 2 Christmas books. So this year I also have a Christmas classic and a more modern Christmas book. If we're going to cut one, because like we're stressed or whatever, I would cut a Redbird Christmas, I think. And we would just read The Night Before Christmas. Because The Night Before Christmas by Nikolai Gogol is supposed to be wild. Like one of the characters I think is the devil, like the actual devil. And it's about like people who all want to marry the same woman, and one of those people is the devil, ? I don't know. It sounded crazy, but they apparently read it every year. It's like a major. They made a movie of The Hating Game. Oh gosh, no. Wasn't that like the worst book from last year? Did we hate a book more than The Hating Game last year? Did we? Because I'm not sure that we did. Well, did you watch the movie? Because what if they fixed the whole thing with her mom and choosing between love and career and all of that? Like, what if they actually put the message that the book thought it had into the movie? You know what I mean? Like, maybe they improved it. Do we think that's... Am I going to have to watch this now? But I didn't... It's on Hulu. Oh, I'm safe. I don't have Hulu. I'm safe. I don't have to watch it. All right. Well, oh my gosh, The Hating Game. Okay. All right. I'm going to go. It's 11. It's bedtime. Everyone, thank you so much. I'm glad that the file folder situation has been fixed, resolved, whatever. We're all good. So we will quickly make up these 2 file folders in the afternoon next week, and then we'll move on to the next element of the book. So because we're just going to do these file folders as the insert, and then we're going to do one more page. You're torn about watching? I know, we could hate watch it. It would be the hating watch. Oh, should we have a watch party? Because they have this website, I think it's literally called Watch Party, where you can all watch the same movie together at the same time if you all have whatever service the movie is on, but we'd all have to have Hulu. So that's And I don't have Hulu, so already we have a problem. So, but it is too bad we can't do a watch party because, gosh, we had a lot to say about that book and none of it was good, I don't think. All right. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. We are going to continue with this project next week. If you're watching this on YouTube, enjoy the playlist. Check out the rest of the playlist. Because it's got like 15 videos in it by now, with all of the measurements and everything for all of the elements. So there's a lot in there. Thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay hydrated, stay safe, and I will see you next week. Bye now.